Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki
Jai.
Prabhupada Ki Gopanandi. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Giranjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagadamhayam Dadati Svapadantikam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripadamaham Vande Sri Gurudinotaranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining us today on the Sankirtan outing here in Cologne. It's been real fun, real pleasure seeing all the devotees out there in force, doing Harinam, doing book distribution, doing whatever you were doing. You know what you were doing. You were out there. I saw you. So this Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. This Sankirtan movement is already declared a success by Lord Chaitanya himself. The only question is, will I be part of that winning team? We met some football aficionados, some people who were wearing their shirts. And I asked them, so who's going to win? And they said, well, we don't know. But in Sankirtan, we know that there's only winners. There's only winners. So join the winning team. Be part of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. In fact, we're hiring people in all positions. So call all your 5,000 friends and tell them, come down here and sign up with the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There was a lot of exuberance, a lot of enthusiasm. Many books went out and people got affected by the chanting and dancing and book distribution. So what I'd like to do in the next 80 minutes is hear your realizations of what went right, what went wrong, and what could be improved. Do we have a second mic that could be passed around? Is this a technologically advanced society? Not so much. Okay, so you'll just have to speak up. What was your realizations today?
It was very blissful to see all the devotees together, and for me it was nice. It's always nice to do in Sankirtan.
So we should do this at least once a week, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so do it. You're one of the die drei Heiligkeiten, drei Könige. So make it happen. Put it on the menu. Great. Did you do any books?
Yeah.
Meet some nice people?
Always.
Anything memorable that stood out?
People are always nice. So nice couples, nice single men also, and good donations and
No complaints.
no complaints.
All right.
There was only one man who was saying, "Are you from the sect?" So there's only one.
Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
But we should take that also as a compliment.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure. They know us.
They know it. Yeah. And sometimes the complaint is, where have you been?
Yeah.
I haven't seen you guys forever. What happened? And we say, well, we got a little busy, doing a few things. But we're back, okay? And we're back to stay. So it's all good, all right? Reflections.
So it was very exciting for me because it was only the second time, and I realized that I have to learn to let go, to simply let go and let it happen. Right?
Not get in the way.
Yes,
Step out of the center.
Not in the spirit. I have to say something.
Yeah.
I have to be missionary or just be an instrument to let it flow and
Did any books go out? Did you get purified? So it worked.
Yes, it was,
Yeah.
it was very helpful.
Yeah.
I enjoyed to speak to the people and realize that it's getting easier and easier and it's happening by itself.
Nice. Good reflections. Thank you. That is the main result of the yajna. Ceto darpanamarjanam. The heart is becoming cleansed of our attachments. I'm the controller, I'm the enjoyer, I got it figured out. Krishna proves us wrong. He shows us it's not you that you're the doer. I'm the doer. Huh? And that's a very good realization. Thank you for being out. Prabhu?
Actually, I also have.
Is there some water here, like some drinking water? You know, that liquid stuff that comes in bottles or cups? Thank you. That's from the filter.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Prabhu, for giving this opportunity. Actually, I have also not experience of Sankirtan and book distribution till now, and I tried it. So first, actually, in the beginning, when you were telling me the rules, in the classroom, that how to interact, how to first introduce ourselves, how to start the discussion with them. I was thinking it will be easy to apply there, but when we come in the real situation, it was not that easy because I tried several ways. First 2.5 hours, nothing worked around more than 2 hours. I was just approaching many people one after another. In the beginning, I was very enthusiastic. I was thinking that I will be successful because I can convince people very easily at my office and in my customer meetings. But here the word is completely different. People just ignored me, and they have no time, and they don't want to read books also. And I tried several strategies, but very frustrating for me actually. Of course, it's blissful that it was purifying for me, but in material terms it was frustrating because there was no result, no book. So finally I met Prabhuji and I told the situation that I'm not able to distribute any books more than 2 hours. Then Prabhuji said that I came with him, that I saw him how he is doing, and in front of me he has distributed several books one after other. And then I got tips from him that we have to make them stable. Like we cannot just approach them running condition. We have to bring them into some personal discussion and make them staying at one place. Then only we can give. Otherwise, on walking condition we cannot give. So for me it was a good learning, and with the last 10 minutes it was 5 books that went.
Wow, very well. Ja.
It is just mercy of senior devotees and Srila Prabhupada and of course your instructions. And now I got some motivation that in the future I can do more with the tips here provided.
Okay, thank you for sharing so honestly. Yes, walking with the people very rarely works, because if they're not willing to stop and pay attention, very rarely. Of course, in certain countries like Japan or South Korea, people are so determined it's almost impossible to stop them. But they don't mind if you walk along with them and talk with them, but they need to go somewhere. They're texting on 2 phones simultaneously.
Yes.
And they have earplugs.
Yes.
Makes it a little more difficult.
And truly, sometimes it was a little heartening when they reply very bluntly. Some couple says, last miss in Ruhr, last miss in Ruhr. So it was very strong for me. I never heard such words from anyone. But now I'm learning that.
Yeah, you're expanding your vocabulary. Lass mich in Ruhe, schweig die. No, people, they mean well. It's just, you see, you have to understand, you have to be able to tune into their mindset. And that takes a little bit of adjustment, because it's a different operating system than in other places. So just stick around and learn from those who are doing successfully, and you will also be able to do very well, because you're sincere and enthusiastic. I saw you in action. Thank you.
Thank you. Was a good day.
It was a good day, huh?
Purification went.
Yeah.
Oh. one thing I've tried, the one tip you gave in Gauradesh, ask Krishna for help. Works sometimes.
It works. Not always in the way that we expect it to work, but always works, yes. Thank you. For me, it was so enthusiastic to see all the devotees everywhere. You know, wherever you look, you see a devotee. Did you notice? There's a devotee here, there's a devotee there, there's a devotee there. Everywhere devotees, you know? I was like, wow. And people were trying to figure out what's going on here. You know, like, you guys are everywhere. What's happening? And we're doing a little filming, you know, and then some they see the microphone and they see what's going on here. And they say, yeah, you know, just a group here, and we're doing play group, you know, for monks and yogis, and, you know, just having fun and sharing this message with other people. And people, they get it, they understand. If it's a mood of joy, it's a mood of you know, celebration, they can relate to that. Nobody will argue with that or get upset with that. Every now and then you have the occasional outburst of, you know, discontent, but it's more that they're upset about themselves or something. It's not really related to what we're doing. Okay, good to see you. Thanks for coming over all the way from Kolokadam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
What happened?
Yeah, it was a good day. For me, I realized the most that I was not really nicely prepared. Sometimes I could notice I couldn't nicely present the book, or I was talking not
Coherently, not very
confident.
fluent, yeah.
So I think it takes a little bit practice also to get the right things to say. And I try to meet the people on a very personal level. And but what I completely forgot was that I asked them also questions. I think this morning you said it's good to ask questions to bind them.
It's not good, it's essential.
Essential, yes.
The Bhagavatam, the Gita, the CC, it's all questions and answers. It's all dialogue. People don't relate so well to monologues. You know, they kind of shut down. They just kind of, the shutter goes down and the mind just disconnects. But if you're having a dialogue, you keep it interactive, there's no chance for the mind to shut down. Because the mind is like, oh, multiple choice questions. I like this. Okay, give me more of that stuff. Remember when you had an exam and you had multiple choice? The mind says, oh yeah, let's do this, right? When it's like, hey, write an essay, give me 500 words. The mind goes, we'll leave that for later. You know, we're not dealing with that right now. But multiple choice, oh yeah, I'm gonna ace this one. So work with questions.
Yes, and also, yeah, I could notice when I introduced myself and I said I'm distributing books about yoga and meditation. Usually after this sentence, I saw that they lose a lot of interest. So I was thinking maybe I can say something else. Or
Sure.
Yeah, or maybe instead of this I asked them a question.
Yes, good realizations. Few books went out?
Yes.
Good. Thanks for coming out here. Hare Krishna.
Auf Englisch.
Deutsch, Englisch, Russisch, Spanisch, Chinesisch.
Ganz gut. Ich habe zwar kein Buch verteilt, aber ich habe alles versucht.
Ja,
Und
du warst dabei.
Gespräche geführt mit christlichen, mit ausländischen, täglicher Herkunft. Und eine Menge Flyer verteilt. Vielleicht kommen ein paar. Die meisten kommen sowieso nicht, aber ja, ich habe alles gegeben.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only thing we can do. Give everything. Leave it all out in the field. Surrender. The result is up to Krishna. Try out what he did. Just go and spend time with somebody who's expert. And then some of that will wear off on you, I guarantee you. And you know, the comforting fact that even if you're not scoring you might be the guy who carries the water. You might be the guy who cleans the shoes. If your team wins the Super Bowl, you get a golden ring. Why? Because you're part of the team. One of the American presidents, former presidents, went to the NASA facility where they shoot the rockets into outer space. And he went to the bathroom. And everything was super duper clean. Everything was completely perfect. And there was flowers and napkins and everything was really nicely arranged. So he went up to that gentleman who was taking care of the facility. We used to call them janitors. Now I think they call them cleanliness engineers, or I don't know what fancy title they've given him. And he said, "Good job." And that gentleman said, "You know, I'm not a janitor. I'm part of the team who puts the man on the moon. So you're not a book salesman. You're not a person who's trying to push some product. Amazon sells product. ISKCON is giving people an opportunity. So we're giving people an opportunity of a lifetime. That's what we're doing. Because product you can buy online, you can buy it in stores, you can get it in so many places. But an opportunity, that's rare. You can only get an opportunity from someone who is on the inside track, somebody who is connected, somebody who has access to that privilege. And Krishna likes himself to be distributed by his devotees. So, if I'm not in a devotional mindset, in a devotional mood, it will become a little more difficult. Sometimes people look at the book and they look at you, and they look at the book and they look at you, and they look at the book, and they may already have their wallet out. There's some weird thing going on with the sound. Is it feedback or what is it? You notice something is strange with the sound? Maybe I'm too close to it. So sometimes they already have their wallet out, and for the last time they look at you and at the book, and then they say, "Nah, no. If the two don't match, no go. I don't take it." Have you noticed? Huh? So, we have to actually be authentic, because otherwise people won't be really convinced and inspired to take the books and to take to this process. I've watched you, most of you, those who I could find and see, and I saw most of the common mistakes being made, people running after people, people walking with people, devotees arguing with people, and devotees preaching to people, devotees trying to stab people with books, or devotees just standing there like a frozen statue, or a deer watching the headlights of the oncoming truck, you know. And obviously that does not really generate so much interaction because it's not so inspiring. But I also saw a lot of lively interaction and a lot of momentum that is being created by all of your enthusiasm and sincerity. So please do go on by all means, and Krishna will empower you. Yes, sir.
I did want to say one.
Okay.
I tried to distribute, but it doesn't work so good.
But you sat down and did some reading, right?
Yeah.
Or chanting.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
So you had a good moment with Krishna? You had good interaction?
I had a good interaction with two people. There was a mother with her daughter, and they took a book, but we chanted together a mantra.
Mm-hmm.
I felt they got purified.
Did you feel purified?
Yeah, I mean, it just was one time I spoke to people, but
You know, sometimes these little things make a huge impact, make a huge difference. I remember back in 1985, I was going to door in a very conservative neighborhood of Switzerland, and big houses, big fences, big dogs. Very few people showed any interest whatsoever. And I was just kind of desperate. But back then, in the day, we used to knock on every door in the country every 2 years. We would just go door to door and cover everything. And that means there was no way of skipping a street, there was no way of skipping a house. We wanted to knock on every single door in the country. So one lady, she opened, and she didn't seem very interested, but she said, "My nephew has been to India." I said, okay. So she took 3 books, and I asked her for the contact. She gave me the number. That's before the time people got paranoid. And I called him, and him and his friend showed up a couple of weekends later to the temple for the Sunday feast. They both had long hairs and red eyes because they were pot smokers. And they said, "Look, we already been to India, we already know all of this, but, but I was Bhaktaniko, and Bhaktaniko doesn't take no for an answer." I was very enthusiastic. So I showed them the entire temple, I showed them the deities, I gave them prasadam, and then I showed them all the books. And they said, "We already know everything, but you're a nice kid," and they just put a few big bills on the table and packed all the books and went home. And then for the next couple of years, they were showing up like every other month for a Sunday feast, but not much happened. Till one fine day, His Holiness Bhakti Charumaraj came and gave the Sunday feast lecture, and the 2 of them were there. And I very vividly remember when they were watching his class. "So, Guru, we have to surrender. What have we been thinking? We've been idiots." And it just hit them. He just hit them right in the heart. It just blew them out of the water. The lights went on. And they got serious about the practice of Bhakti. So they transformed their house into a temple. And because they were rich kids, they had a lot of friends because they had the party spot in the big house. So everybody who was in their group got connected with Krishna consciousness. And from that group, about 25 people got initiated by Bhakti Charumaraj. Now what starts out, and many, many more started practicing. So what starts out with just another day, another struggle, another book, and you think, what difference does it make? Right? What difference does it make? Well, it made a difference for that person, and for the other 24 of them too. So never underestimate the potency of these books. There's countless stories like that, yet I would like you to experience your own stories. And that's why we're doing this little outing, this little experiment, so that you have enough conviction and confidence to go out, even by yourself, even if there is no group outing, but it's just you going to work. And because you remember rule number 3? What is rule number 3?
Always make your bag as a Sankirtan bag. So
yes.
Always keep some books.
That's rule number 2, and then rule number 3, you have to show them.
Show them.
You have to actually show them. And I guarantee you can distribute every day a few books, even without trying. Because there's always people near you, and they're like, "Hey, you got something for me? Huh? You look like a nice guy. Do you have anything for me?" And then instead of giving them your business card or your social media or just having a mundane conversation, you can just hand them a book. Also as a gratuity, as a thank you. Instead of handing out money, you just give people books. And you will notice that people will respond favorably. It will leave an impact on them. Thank you. Anyone else who went out today? Okay, we'll start here.
I'm feeling very happy that I finally had the courage to open myself up and talk to so many people, and even though it's not very less actually, I could distribute 6 books, but that's
Haribo! Hare Krishna! Jai!
It was after a long time, the first hour, nothing was happening.
So this is the first time you went out to distribute books?
Yes, but officially yes. I tried one time ago in Sweden, but people in Sweden are a little more open, so it was easier there. But here, also, this was my real first time with more books, and I realized also the importance of prayer And that at first I thought I can talk very nicely. I can do this. I think and nothing was happening. But then I said, I'm so sorry, Gauradesh, please help me now. And then it happened slowly. Yes. So people came to me. Then people started even like approaching me, but I didn't have to do it myself.
Which is kind of weird, isn't it?
Yes.
Right?
Because first nothing was
Sometimes you try to push and I gotta make this happen, and everybody's just avoiding and running away, right?
Yeah.
And then you stand there and then people walk up to you and say like, hey, what you got?
Yes.
You have something for me? Yeah, I want this, you know? I remember devotees who were just sitting down, they were desperate, they were just crying, you know? And people are like, hey, can I have one of these? And the devotee's like, no, it's all bad, you know, it's all bad, everybody hates me. And they're like, how much is it? And they're like, no, you don't want it, it's bad, you know. And they're like, okay, I'll take it here. They put $5 there and just walk away with the book, you know. So just don't get in the way, just try not to obstruct, and Krishna will do the magic. Thank you for coming out. Hare Krishna. Was it easier than Münster or more difficult?
Yes, a little bit.
Easier.
Yes.
Why?
I try to be more personal to the people and explain why I think this book will be.
You shared some of your reasons why you're doing this. Did it work? Did somebody connect with that? It resonated?
Three times it works.
Okay. Well, you know, if you get 3 out of 10, they'll pay you probably about 7 million, you know. If you're in baseball and you hit 3 out of 10, they'd probably pay about 7 million a year. So 3 is not a bad start, you know. So keep going.
Mir ging es, glaube ich, wieder nicht mit rechten Dingen zu, war ja klar.
Huh?
Ich hatte erst nicht so große Ambitionen, mich besonders zu bemühen heute. Und dann sah ich plötzlich jenseits von Raum und Zeit offene Mülleimer stehen. Hat einer von euch wohl an jemanden verteilt. Und für einen kleinen Augenblick dachte ich noch, ja, lass einfach stehen, weil wenn es jetzt jemand sieht, der es haben möchte, kann er es sicher einfach nehmen. Aber dann war auch klar, das ist ein Mülleimer, nicht eine Blumenwiese. Ich muss es nehmen und dann war auch das steht für mich da. Also ich soll mich jetzt anstrengen. Ich muss wenigstens dieses eine Buch verteilen.
Sonst sind wir in Minus, ne? Und Minus ist nicht cool. Minus ist nicht geil. Da muss was geschehen hier.
Das
Ja.
dann auch 10 Minuten später, weil der Druck dann etwas höher war. Ne? Also es ist bei dem eingeblieben.
Okay. Ein bisschen Krishna Anxiety gehört dazu.
Und der Harinam war, glaube ich, auch noch so ein bisschen unterstützend von euch. Also
Ja.
das hat man so gemerkt, nicht, dass ich deswegen mehr verteilt hätte, aber energetisch fand ich, das passt ganz gut, wenn dann so eine kleine Gesamtanlage noch kommt.
Vielen Dank. Yeah, one time I went out with a young devotee and we went door to door and he knocked on the door and the lady opened the door and then she screamed and she slammed the door shut. And then he was just shocked. Then the door opened again. She came and put a box of books right on top of his stack. He was carrying a stack and she put a Bhagavatam set right on top of it. And then she slammed the door again and she disappeared. And that day he had like 12 books minus, you know. And his false ego was crushed. He was just like, what's going on here? Why is Krishna doing this thing? But it's good. It's a sobering experience. Thank you. Were you out there? No? Okay. You went out? Today?
We went to Harinam.
Okay. Yeah, it was nice seeing everybody there, chanting and dancing. It makes such a difference. Book distribution becomes so easy, it's almost sense gratification. Sometimes I just have to go away because it becomes too easy. And I don't like it, you know? Everybody's like, yeah, this is great. Can I have one of these? Can I give you some money? And I'm like, something's wrong here, you know? Like, something is strange, you know? Makes such a difference. Yes. You.
Also ein Buch mit Hilfe muss ich verteilen. Ansonsten bin ich froh, dass ich mich getraut habe, die Leute anzusprechen. Und das war tatsächlich ja nicht einfach, aber ich bin froh, diese Erfahrung gemacht zu haben. Und das ist so ein bisschen motivierend, ne? dass man sich wenigstens getraut hat, die Leute anzusprechen, und es kam halt wenig Reaktion zurück, aber das Ego hat gar nicht so doll gemeckert, wie ich erwartet habe. Insofern bin ich ganz dankbar. Und dann die letzten 5 Minuten hat die Variante dann gesagt, komm, wir versuchen es nochmal zusammen, und
hat geklappt, ne? Teamwork. Yo. No, it's an important realization. I can do this. I can be part of this team. It's a team effort. Everybody can help each other, and the team is as strong as the weakest link. So when I see somebody sitting on the corner or somebody really struggling, then I'm like, come on, you know? We win or we lose as a team, so please. Because it's a collective consciousness. We have a collective consciousness out there. Did you realize how initially when we started out, people were more relaxed and more chill, and it was a little more friendly and playful? And as the time went on, past noon, they got more and more passionate. Bigger groups of people started coming out. A lot of football people came out. A lot of groups of youth came out. And it got a little more rambunctious. You noticed how it got more difficult?
Yes.
Yeah. And then the Harinam came and it got easier again. So it's really interesting to see how these shifts in energy are happening continuously. So you can see it's not a mechanical formula, but it's really how focused am I? We went over to the dome to have a little bit of an outing there on that side. And it's quite an interesting scene there because people are busy taking selfies and taking pictures and their mind is somewhere else. But the good thing is they have to stop to take a picture. And you got them. So one realization is don't try to stop people who are running. Talk to people who already stopped for whatever purpose. My 2 friends were sitting on the bench and there's a lady who was sitting next to them and she was having a chat with them, an animated discussion. And I thought, sure, why not? She, like a sitting duck, she's not running anywhere. So she took 2 books and was very happy because they had already broken the ice and already showed to her that, you know, we're nice people. We're doing good work here, so you can help us. It's all right. All right. Thank you. Other realizations? Yes. It's your turn.
Thank you so much. Yeah. At the beginning, I felt very sleepy and very tired. I don't know why. And I felt nothing can happen. It was just chaotic, absolutely, to me. And honestly, I don't like this place. This place, Kaufhof. Yeah, I speak as it is. The place doesn't like me. I think so. Yes. And
what is like you?
The place where we were today distributing, I don't like it, this place.
Okay.
Because some years ago, maybe 4, 3, before COVID, it was okay. But then it has changed. Now it's very difficult to distribute there. And I felt so a bit tired and happy, you know, you're trying and nobody stops you. Yes, and I was trying to warm up myself somehow. Yes. Yes, and then slowly it was better and better and better and better, and I went to the other place, not far from this, where we were together with Prabhu, and then his daughter too, yes, and I saw how they were distributing, very enthusiastically, both, especially so Shrishti, she was smiling all the time, just like the sun. She was shining and smiling at the people. They were coming to her, they took books, and she was speaking so, how to say, not passionate, very, very, very good, in goodness. Not very quick, but just nicely rhyme and very clear, and they were listening to her, and she asked questions. I was not very near, not to disturb her, but something I heard. So, do you know what? Something, she asked questions, yes? Yes, yes. It was very nice.
It worked, huh?
She, yeah, it
asking
was,
questions.
It was, she asked questions, and she was smiling all the time. Very nice, yes.
I copied them and
Yes. So it was, and one more thing I wanted to say. When I felt, because I'm always almost always alone, I felt something just like a family feeling. So I looked there, the devotees are sitting here. Wow, so nice. And also distributing books. Yes. And so this family feeling was very important for me. And I wanted to say something more. And one more thing I wanted to say, that when we're distributing together, I don't know when next time comes, yes, but Mataji is very often they're speaking with each other. They are doing so in pairs. One Mataji and one more Mataji. And they're not distributing, they're speaking. Yes. You know what, or something like this, and the people are passing by and they're speaking. And I find it's also an important point. Yes, so when we're distributing together, yes, we should be concentrated, yes, what you said, yes. And not to speak. When we can then come back to the temple. I have dried lips today, maybe I'm not speaking very vividly, very dried lips, to be dry lips, I'm sorry. Yes, and then you can speak as a temple, yes, not to speak. I told them, please don't stay, don't stay together, so distribute, I told them, yes. So also important, because every chance is a chance.
Thank you for sharing.
We have so many chances.
Yes.
And I was watching you distributing, also, yes. But shortly, not so. You were not so long there, unfortunately. Yes, but so sometimes we're watching each other. It's also.
Yeah, whenever I see other devotees, especially when I'm in Sankirtan, it's so enlivening. You see a devotee. I remember one time I was flying through Sheremetyevo, and I was just in transit, and I looked and I saw a devotee just with a bead bag walking on the other side of the glass wall. You just saw a devotee walking with a bead bag. And I was like, hey, Hari Bol, you know, like a devotee, this is great. I just felt blissful, you know. In this ocean of ignorance, there's somebody who's chanting Hare Krishna. I remember when I was still going to school, every evening I was doing puja to Nishingadev, praying to him, please get me out of here. If you get me out of here, I'll serve you. But get me out of here. And then my sister was knocking on the door while I was doing the arti. And I didn't pay attention, not just because it was my sister, but because it was time for doing arti. So when I was done, I opened the door and went downstairs, and she said, yeah, one of your people with the books was here. And I'm like, what? One of my people with the books were here? Where is he? Where is he? And I ran down on the street and I found him. And I was very excited to see him. And he was struggling like anything because it's a very conservative neighborhood and he had a real hard time. And I was like, this is great. And he was like, whoa. His name was Nishingadev Das. So I was doing arti to Nishingadev, and Nishingadev Das, you know, or Nishingadev Prabhu, he came by to try to distribute books. And sometimes we have the reverse experience, that we're not so enthusiastic, but the people who we meet are very enthusiastic. And then we think, like, how is this possible? How is it legal that this person is more blissful and more Krishna conscious than me? You know, I'm the one who got up this morning and who chanted Hare Krishna. How can this person be more happy than I am? But Krishna is very mysterious. And he does these things to show us that it's not a stereotype, it's not a mechanical arrangement, it's not a formula. Thank you. Yes?
It was the first time to distribute together with devotees on the street.
Обычно я люблю Харинамы, больше Харинамы, и там больше привлекаешь людей как танцами, но молча.
Usually she prefers to take part in Harinamas and more singing the holy name and attracting people by the holy name and by dancing.
Но сегодня просто была какая-то мечта все-таки начать научиться распространять книги, и очень всем благодарна когда мы все как-то друг друга вдохновляющие. Когда я хотела подальше, хотелось возвратиться назад, там тем больше
It was always her dream to learn to distribute books, and today she was very happy to do it together with so many devotees, and it was nice to be and do it around devotees, and she was not so willing to go and separate from others because she was more enlivened to stay around devotees.
Но барьер разговаривать очень для меня сложно, поэтому мне, конечно же, сегодня спасибо большое преданным, матаджи меня вдохновляли, помогали, объясняли, как рассказывали. Оно ничего не получалось, но тем не менее все равно что-то я распространила.
Because of the language barrier, it was a bit difficult, but other matажis, they supported her and explained her what to say, and she tried to apply it. To some extent, it was successful.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Да, и там эти мы были в центре, я всего одну книжку распространила. Потом, когда мы сюда уже приехали, у меня не было цели распространить много книг, было желание научиться и посмотреть на за другим. Но когда мы сюда приехали, я зашла, и в машине сидели люди, и я несла книги, они посмотрели, что это у вас книги, и в общем еще получилось даже как-то Кришна проявился просто.
So in the center city, she distributed just one book, and she had not really the goal to distribute many books. So she was satisfied with that one book, but when she was walking towards the temple with books in her hands, then some people from a car just called her to the car, and they took 3 books.
Haribol.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
It was very uplifting to be together with so many devotees, because I go to distribute alone for many years now, and so it's always very nice to distribute together and to have the chance to make a break and support each other a little bit. But I found it also a very hard place. It's a totally hard place, and I distribute in Berlin, and this is also very hard, but this is more hard. This is really tough, and the people are so fast and they're so occupied by this consume area around, so that to catch their attentiveness is the most difficult thing. To make them make small break to see what is this, and so I was disappointed. I was disappointed. It's not my first day, and I'm used to do this, and it's going on. They are doing stuffing, they are doing visiting, and they give the same phrases like all the time in the last month actually, and they're not having money, and
All the good stuff.
actually, yeah, that's was a nice Leute
Yeah, purifying experience.
Yes. I wanted to see what he speaks to me, and yes, and I stay with this opinion that even when I give the books for like nothing, for €1, I gave 2 books, but I was thinking I felt really important to give these people the book. I wanted that these people receive the chance to get in contact with Krishna, and even if it's too less money, then sometimes I have to do this.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's important to be generous. Sometimes people may not have money, or they may have very less money, but they want the book. And then there are other people who want to give you, and they don't want to take the book. That happens also. So it always balances out. So don't be too tight and too rigid. Just be an instrument and just be a giver, and Krishna will empower you. Honestly speaking, when I saw the place, I knew it's going to be tough for the most of you, because this is not an easy place. This is like Shark Tank, This is like, stuff is moving fast, and if you want to hit a random moving object, you have to speed up your game and get a little bit more into it. So normally when we go on outings with new groups, we either work from a table or we go door to door or we go to an area which is a little more peaceful. This was quite passionate, especially as time went on, it got more and more passionate. And if you'd go out now, it'd be pretty crazy out there. So, in general, when you go to walking streets, try to go early. Because it's a whole different type of mood, a whole different type of crowd who go out early. You know the early shoppers? They just go out at an early hour. It's a different mindset, different type of people. Then the noon scene has got its own flavor. And then as it gets into afternoon, it shifts very palpably, visibly into a different gear. Thank you. Rupa Vilas? Das Wort zum Samstag? We just did a tour together. He just drove me all around Germany, up to Münster and Berlin and Leipzig and Singhachalam and Munich and Nuremberg and back here. So it was really ecstatic. It was blissful being with him. Nice association. So yeah, if you want to have fun, just hit the road sometimes and just go and travel to a few cities. There's nothing like it, like doing traveling Sankirtan. You just go out into the unknown. The first 3 years, I didn't even know the name of the town that I was in. I just jumped out of the van and, hey, I'm here, okay. I only know one thing, 6:30 at this street corner. Yeah. Rohini Sudha Prabhu bought me my first watch because he said you have to know what time we're picking you up. And it worked. It worked. We had faith in the instruction of our authorities. Now it's a little different. We want to try and figure it all out by ourselves. So it's a little harder. I remember very clearly one time before the December marathon, I was in Geneva, and foolish youthful exuberance, I ate about 8 or 10 persimmons, you know, kakis, kaki, the big persimmons, the big orange fruit. But it's a southern fruit. It comes from a very hot climate. But in our latitude, it was already cold. So I got a severe cold because of that. And there's a problem. Problem is that next Monday, it was weekend, next Monday, the marathon starts. And if you miss one day in the marathon, you lose the game. Because the competition is so intense that you have to be out there every day. So I was really struggling. I had all the symptoms and just fever and completely bewildered. So my Sankirtan leader, Rohini Sudha Prabhu, he said, okay, I read in the Bhagavatam in the 5th canto, it says that if a healthy person takes water and gargles with it, you know, is Soma the moon there with taking the fever down? So I was laying there and he gargled with water and he spit the water on me, and the next day the fever was gone and I was back out on the street shooting. So you gotta have faith in the process. Even though it sounds mysterious, sometimes it sounds like, how is this possible? How can this work? But it does work. So I felt very enlivened by Rupa Vilas Prabhu's association, by his gentle and steady demeanor, and how efficiently he got things done, and he communicated with people, and he arranged the whole tour. So it was really a breeze, because I could just chill and just do what I have to do, not break my head about management. So thank you for that. Now, what is your realization?
Yeah, first of all, thank you.
But I woke him up every night.
Yes.
Because when he was cutting wood logs, you know, in his sleep, you know, how geschnarcht wie ein Bär. I had a reflex and I just was snapping my fingers, which I usually do when somebody snores. And then he couldn't sleep, so it must have been really austere for him. I just do it in the sleep, you know.
Yeah, the whole week was very inspiring for me, and I could learn a lot actually by your association, and it's very important that we take as much as possible association from devotees who have experience and who really, who we say walk the talk, right? Who really do this, what they are also talking and preaching about. And for me it was really nice to hear all the lectures from you, and I could understand that all the efforts you put inside Krishna consciousness, Krishna gives you and then double, triple, 10,000 times more back. Today was interesting situation. There was a Chinese girl, and she was studying. And I asked her, "You study or you go for work?" And she said, "I'm studying." And then she asked me, "Guess what I study?" And I told her what she studies, Krishna science. Yes, but what exactly? And then I told her, Naturwissenschaften. And she said, yes, again. And she was surprised. How do I know this? So I was also surprised, and I remember the lecture which you said, where it was a similar situation where a man asked what I have in my hands, and then you started to pray to Krishna, and then you told him $108, and he was shocked. How is this possible? How do you know that it's $108? So Krishna can really empower us. This was my understanding, and it was really tough to convince this girl, because in one moment she was really open. You could really feel like the soul is there. In another moment she was completely closed, like the modes came again. So it was all the time a switch. But in the end, thanks to Prabhupada, she took the book. And she was very happy. And we had different discussions. I'm from Chinese background, actually we're Buddhist, but also we're very materialistic, we don't believe in God. And all the time, she was like, she felt like connected to me, then disconnected, connected, disconnected. And I was thinking, Krishna, what's going on here? what's the plan? And then I understood, okay, I just have to be patient and don't be attached, and just observe what's going on. And in the end, Krishna made a miracle and changed her heart. And I was just observing and was like laughing and thinking, what's going on here? It's like you said, if we want to see the magic, we have to go for Buddhism, we have to go for Sankirtan and be part of the mission. So, and during our travel, I also saw like I became more realistic about what's going on in Germany actually. And actually there's a lot of work to do for us devotees. So I was quite shocked, because if you're just in one place for many years, you don't know what's going on in other temples, and you think, my temple is so bad and this and that, why we don't do more in our place? But then you see other places and you think, oh my God, it's the heaven, my place. Actually we are doing something there. So there were so many realizations. I'm just thankful that I could get your association, also because we know each other for many years, and you was kind of helping me in difficult situations. And I'm happy that Krishna arranged that we met in this life, and I hope.
Well, thank you for tolerating me and taking this leap of faith of coming and jumping out, and thank your wife for giving you a week of holidays, so much appreciated. Right back at you. Yeah, very valuable realizations. Thank you for sharing that. You guys came out? You were out? Harina, yeah. It was really nice seeing you. I saw you guys right in front of the dome, when we were there. And it was just like a miracle, right? All of a sudden these people from Vaikuntha were just popping up right in front of us and chanting the holy name. It was just like, wow, this is amazing. Devotees of the Lord. It was really nice. Yes. You were there? Harinam, yes. Thank you. Okay, our film team, any realizations?
I've seen today that since we were not distributing ourselves, but I've seen that when you give up, for the service, you give up your ego, and then you have to be bold and crash into five groups of Arabs, and then I really saw that it's joyful. It's like it's written in the scriptures. It's practice with joy. I've seen that today.
Thank you. Any realizations from your observation?
When I first saw you distributing your first books, it seemed very, very easy to me, but I guess it wasn't actually. But yeah, when you went on, when you went on and the further you got, I noticed the difficulties of distributing, and that it's not that easy as I thought.
You want to try it out?
Yeah, I guess.
Good.
I could do it.
Yeah. You like a good challenge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the ultimate challenge. Go face yourself. Go out and distribute books. Thank you for sharing your realizations and for coming out. As it was mentioned earlier, there's only winners. So you're part of the winning team. Now, how often you'll go out, that depends. I humbly like to ask you, please carry some of Prabhupada's books with you wherever you go. And when people ask you why you're not getting angry, why you're vegetarian, why don't you do this, why are you like that, you can just give them the book, that's why. And it's perfectly all right to not conform with society. And people will, because now it's inclusivity, everything's okay. And everything means everything. And that means it includes Krishna consciousness. So you can tell them, this is against my religion. I can't drink this, I can't eat this, I can't do this. Why? Because it's against my religion. Oh, okay. Oh. Huh? So feel free to just be your true happy self and to unsubscribe from all the madness of the material world and to do what needs doing. Srila Prabhupada had a great sense of urgency. At the same time, he was very patient and he was happy to start small. We've started small today. We just stepped out on the street. We just touched the pavement. We just said hello. We just smiled at some people. Gave out a couple of books. But big things start small. How long did it take them to build that dome? Over 100 years. It took them forever. Took many generations. The people who worked there, they never saw it open. They never saw the success. The sweetest fruits are the trees that you plant today, but you'll never eat their fruits. The natives had a saying, 7 generations. We should think in 7 generations. Now, of course, this is postmodernism 2023. It's the I, me, and mine. It's the now. I want it all and I want it now generation. But they're never really going to get it big, because with that mindset, you never do big things. Yes, you can get paid every day, but that's daily wage. That's not really spectacular. So please keep on investing in yourself, building trusting and loving relationships with devotees, and Krishna will manifest in that Sangha. He will transform your life. And Bhakti is the highest form of intimacy. If you're hankering for intimacy, for being close to Krishna, if we engage in devotional service, especially in sharing this message of Srila Prabhupada with others, Krishna will give you a lot of taste, a lot of realization. It'll also be a little purifying. Like when the gopis wanted to go out and meet Krishna in the forest, it wasn't easy. Society did not comply. Society did not appreciate. The relatives did not appreciate. There was a lot of obstacles. Some were held back forcefully. They were facing ostracization, that people would reject them. They were facing persecution. It was a really heavy situation. Yet they were fully determined that I am going to do this because Krishna is calling. And I hear Krishna's flute. So I just have to go and be with Krishna. Huh? It's like our dear friends who come from India here, and they've traveled so far to see Krishna. Huh?
You can take that.
Please. It's just offering is going on, Boga, after darshan, after, okay? So, they're so determined to see Krishna. How determined am I to see Krishna? Huh? Am I really that desperate to see Krishna? Am I willing to face the heat and go through fire? Or am I a fair weather devotee who just buys the t-shirt and thinks, yeah, I'm part of this club? We saw a lot of people with t-shirts today. You saw those guys with those white and red t-shirts?
Yes.
Running around? Are they sports people? No, they're not sports people. They're called fans or hooligans or, people who like drinking, or they're not sports people. So just buying a t-shirt doesn't make you anything. It just means you're wearing a shirt. Huh? Sankirtan means that we're engaging in Sankirtan, Samyak Kirtan, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantas Chadridavrata, Namashyantas Chamam Bhakta, Nitya Yukta Upasate, to continuously chant Krishna's holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I met an Indian gentleman, an entrepreneur, a businessman, 700 employees, with his son from Nagpur. And he said, yes, he's connected to ISKCON and he's helping there. But he couldn't really figure out what we're doing here. It was a little mysterious to him, what we're trying to do here. And it took him some while to translate it into his operating system. But eventually he got there. So be patient, be persistent, and always be enthusiastic. You may not be the most anything, but if you're enthusiastic, people can connect with that enthusiasm. And they will appreciate. What does enthusiasm mean? Entheos. It means to be divinely inspired or possessed by God. Would you like to be possessed by God? Huh? Be nice, right? Krishna guides your path and directs your life. It'd be wonderful. Yet because we're foolish, we try to stay in control. Für die Sicherheit, We want to be in charge. That is our disease. And that's why it's going to take a little while and it's going to hurt a little bit. Letting go doesn't mean I become incapacitated. It doesn't mean I become unproductive. But letting go of our own plan and ideas and surrendering to Krishna's plan and Krishna's idea is what Arjuna did in the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna empowered him. And he not only won the war, but he brought a lot of people close to Krishna by his inquisitiveness, by his honesty, by sharing his struggle. So all these realizations that you've had today are all part of this purification process. What's the title of the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita?
Sankhya Yoga?
No, the second.
Identity, self-identity, identity of self.
Second chapter.
The second.
Number 2. Vishada Yoga. Vishada means confusion, struggle, identity. Yes, struggle for identity. Arjuna is in a dilemma. Who am I? Am I a yogi? Am I a kshatriya? Am I a good guy? And now I'm forced to be a bad guy? This is very purifying type of discussion. And hearing from you, I can see that many of you went through their Vishada Yoga today. The yoga of confusion. Did you have your yoga of confusion today? that who am I and what am I doing here and why the heck is Krishna doing this to me? Huh? So it works. It works. It's exactly textbook. You're right, genau per Fahrplan. Huh? You're on track. But don't stop in the second chapter, you know. Like I tell people sometimes that the teachings start like, you know, Dehinos Minyatarehe 2:13, 2:14. That's where the teachings start. Before that is setting the scene and then a lot of arguments and a lot of confusion. So don't stop in that state. Like anything you start, it's a little difficult. It might get a little hard. But if you keep on, eventually you get there. So Srila Prabhupada was very pleased. He was very pleased to see that devotees were taking some effort to share this message of Krishna consciousness with others. And he said in many places, know it for a fact that there's no better way to share Krishna consciousness than through the distribution of these literatures. Whenever a new book comes out, I feel like I've conquered an empire. If you go on distributing books, you'll make me live forever. Prabhupada knew that these books would travel and they would go to places where you can never go. Just to share you one or two stories before we're closing up here. This is the bonus round. One of my dear friends, Sarvama Prabhu, he joined in northeast Brazil near Recife, Fortaleza. But he's originally from Argentina. So then when he was back in Argentina in Buenos Aires, his spiritual master got sick in the United States. So he had to go and visit his guru to serve him. So he went to the American embassy in Buenos Aires to get a visa. And he went in pant and shirt. And he got rejected. They said, nope, we're not giving you the visa. So the next day he went back in dhoti and kurta, dressed as a devotee. And he demanded to talk to the ambassador, to the lady in charge. She came. She was a middle-aged woman. And she said, what can I do for you? And he said, yesterday, your less intelligent bureaucrat refused my visa application. Little did he know that we're missionaries, and in our tradition, to serve the Guru is the most important thing. So my Guru is sick, he's in the United States, I have to go there to serve him. I have done this before. So she said, so you're not just going to go there for work? You're not just going to go there and disappear like all the others? He said, no, we're missionaries. We always travel, we come, we go, so I just go there to serve my Guru, then I come back. She paused for some time. And then she said, okay, I give you the visa. And as she was getting up from the table, and she said it under her breath, because there was other people there, you know, there's the Marines, there's the diplomats. She's the top dog, she's the top woman in the country. She said, I read Prabhupada's Gita. And he had a Prabhupada Lilamrita in his bag. He couldn't give it to her as a gift because it would look like a bribe, so he just left it on the table. And you may question, why did she ask him all these questions? Why are you going there? What are you going to do there? If she already read the Gita, why did she ask him all these questions? Because she's a Kshatriya. The Kshatriya has to make sure that people are doing their duty. He was looking like he's a Hare Krishna, but she had to make sure that he was a Hare Krishna. So when people are asking you all these questions, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why? It's not because there is distrust or no, it's because this is Krishna's mercy that forces us to actually be authentic and not just put on a show and pretend. Because in this day and age, people are not very patient. They're not very studious. They're not very austere. They're not very sincere. But they're averse to hypocrisy. Have you noticed? That if they find something that's not working, they really get upset. So Krishna is forcing us to do our homework. I can see here in Germany tremendous potential. The whole world is here now. Have you noticed how the whole world is here? People from all over the place are here in Germany. So there's a lot of opportunity for sharing Krishna consciousness to all the different demographics. But we have to become a little more Krishna conscious and improve our team dynamics. So think team, think vision and mission, and Krishna will empower you. Find some expert, team up, and go out regularly whenever you can. And Krishna will work through you. Now, it's not a stereotype formula that you can only give a book. You can also call people, you can write to people, you can meet them in any kind of situation, at the job, at festivals, in the park. It's not that there's just one shoe size fits all. There is unlimited opportunities how to share the message of Krishna consciousness. And the sky's the limit. You use your own ingenuity. But it's got something to do with books, prasadam, and harinam. This is the magic formula. If you put these three components together, boom! You have nuclear fusion. You can blow people out of the water. So, these are some reflections. I would love to see much more Sankirtan, much more preaching and book distribution in Germany, because right now it's awfully quiet. There's 100 million people. There's a lot of people out there. And the vast majority, they say, Hare Christians? When we were at the concert, some security guard in America, he asked, who are you guys? We said, the Hare Krishnas. And he took his microphone and said, boss, we got some Harley Christians here, you know? Some Harley Christians. It's okay, let him in, you know? They were the show. So, people have no frame of reference. They don't know who we are. They don't know what we're doing. Because it's been too long. It's been too long. We were chanting and dancing down in Santa Monica. You want to get this, or are you already retired for today? It's good to get a little exercise every now and then, right? Pick up the big beast. Tell me when you're ready.
20 seconds. Quick.
20 seconds? Oh, booting up. You gotta get one of those, you know, like standby. You just push the pedal and then boom, shifts back into gear. You get
ready to go.
Ready to go? Okay, we were in Santa Monica, California, near Los Angeles, and we were a group of 50 people chanting Hare Krishna, doing Harinam, like today. And we were all spread out, chanting, people walking by, some people were stopping. There was an old lady on the other side of the street. She was checking us out. She was looking at us very concentrated. And after 5 or 7 minutes, she walked over and she asked me, "Son, are you taking drugs?" And I said, "No." And she said, "That's really sad, because I was ready to buy whatever it is that you're taking." People are looking for taste. When I tell people I'm from Switzerland, then usually my Indian friends, they say, "Oh, Switzerland, chocolates, watches, mountains. Why are you doing this bhakti thing?" And I say, "Rasam." You know rasam? You like rasam? Rasam, yes. Taste, bhakti ras. There is no taste that parallels or exceeds bhakti. When I see couples walking, I ask them, "It's still love, right?" It's still love, right? And then they usually look at each other and start to smile, and they say, "Yeah." Then I say, "This book is about selfless love." And they're like, "Wow, okay, what you got? This sounds interesting." So you have to connect. Yoga means connection. Connection. But we can only connect if we're connected with Krishna. How do we connect with Krishna? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But you got to chant. You can't just say, hey, I'm okay. I don't need to chant. You have to actually put in a little effort. Huh? And you will see how Krishna is responsive. Krishna reciprocates. And he'll give you a lot of taste. He'll give you a lot of happiness. And he'll give you direction. Huh? I know some of you think, oh, another day, another book, another day of work. What difference does it make in life? Well, once you realize that you're eternal, time takes on a whole different dimension. We're Satchidananda. We're eternal, wise, and blissful. Sooner or later, we'll all come back to this junction right now, where we have these two choices. I'm going to cooperate and surrender to Krishna, or I'm going to do my thing and try to enforce my plan on the world. Now, for me, speaking personally, I've exceeded all my options. I already ticked off all the boxes. Huh? I'm excited about one thing, and one thing only, and that is, what is Krishna's plan, and how can I be part of Krishna's plan? Because I know he's having fun with his friends. Huh? This morning I was reading how they were playing games, and they were throwing around lunch bags, and they were playing hide and seek, and they were doing all kinds of stuff, killing demons, and really exciting things. I want to be part of that team. Huh? Now, sometimes even in spiritual institutions, we get a little sidetracked, and we may think that, yeah, my guru has this mood, he wants to do this thing, and your guru has that mood, and your guru has that mood, and his guru has that mood, so let everybody do whatever they want. But it will create not so much synergy, not so much unity, not so much focus. Huh? There is only one team. It's her team, Srimati Radharani's team. But I have to be a team player to be part of that team. Otherwise, I can't be on the team. So we're learning love through cooperation. That is bhakti, devotional service, selfless love. And that is what Srila Prabhupada came to give. That is what Lord Chaitanya came to give. Golokera premadana harinama sankirtana. Premadhan, the greatest gift, prem. That is what we're here for. Not just something external. So thank you all for taking part in this Sankirtan seminar. Tomorrow will be the last session where they'll talk a little bit about logistics and organization, management, how to actually do it, how to get it done and keep it going in a sustainable way. Because we would like you to expand the Sankirtan mission wherever you are. Because as you can see, there is unlimited opportunities. And I know some of you are a little startled, a little frazzled, a little unsettled about the idea. You think like, oh, I'm totally new to this and I haven't really been that much exposed to Krishna consciousness. We're all looking for a mission. We're all looking for a purpose. We're all looking for community. We're all looking for love. Yet, more often we're looking in the wrong places. But these things exist. Because if something is there as a reflection, as something distorted, there must be the original. There must be the source. There must be the pure form of it. Now, just because I have not yet reached it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. If there is a shadow, it means there is a real object. If there is a reflection, that means there is a real form. I may not be able to connect with it because I'm confused, but it does exist. It does exist. Personally speaking, I feel very humbled in your association because I see so much enthusiasm, so much sincerity, so much dedication. There may not be that much skill, there may not be that much know-how and teamwork, but those things can easily be learned. So I pray that all your spiritual desires will be fulfilled, that Krishna will remove the obstacles on your path of bhakti, and he will give you taste, dedication, and empowerment to spread the Krishna consciousness movement far and wide, and make a success in your own lives and touch the lives of so many others. This is the real adventure. This is the real magic. If you want to have an exciting life, joined the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ramasundar and me, we're tight. Why? Because we grew up in the same sandbox together. And we've done a few things. And I trust him. And I believe he trusts me. That's why we're here. And if you want that level of love and trust, you have to be willing to put in a little effort and to build those relationships. And you will see how Krishna can empower anybody. Because I'm just an ordinary kid who used to be addicted to sports. And somehow or other, I shifted my focus. And Krishna has been very kind. So I humbly beg you, please give this not just a good shot, but Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kohe Sudrida Nishchoy Sarva Karma Kaila Krita Hoy. Having the firm resolve, the firm determination that Krishna is the path, and he is mamata, he is mine, and I am his, creates a sense of belonging, a sense of identity. We're not playing the Hare Krishna game here. We're doing this. Everyone else is playing games. We're not playing games. Once people realize that you're for real, and they're actually the ones who are playing a game, they drop their act and they say, okay, let's talk. I had an Italian guy, you know, in that role there in the beginning, when we had a few pretty tight encounters. And I asked him, what you doing here, man? And he was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. He was just shocked. He just had to admit that he didn't know what he was doing here. I said, there's no culture. I mean, where are you coming from? It's a different game. What are you doing here? Ask him, are you happy? He said, no. And we had a heart-to-heart, because we both were willing to be a little vulnerable, a little sincere. Sinceros, it means without any gloss, without any external covering. And he was very happy to receive some books. I gave him a big hug at the end, and we connected on the level of Krishna consciousness. And we can see how Krishna consciousness brings people together. Ordinarily speaking, we would never have met because we're all from different backgrounds. But somehow by Prabhupada's mercy, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, we're here. Hare Krishna. Yes, there will be Gaura Artik right now. Thank you all for joining us. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's Chancellor Book Distribution Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Sankirtan Bhaktas Ki Jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Krass.
Na jetzt aber. Wir packen ab und ziehen hoch.